Good morning, Thursday. So I've been promising you guys for a while that I would tell you the Lauren LaHave story. So Lauren LaHave is a coach, a motivational speaker. She's fantastic. She's an author. If you've never seen her, she's definitely worth taking the time to see. She was the MC when they did a big thing at the United Center a couple of years ago that Tony Robbins was one of the speakers, and they had a whole bunch of other speakers. So she was basically Tony's first assistant and then ran the crew forever, all the years that I crewed. And she would give us talks and give us lectures and, trainings on various things. And then she ran Life Mastery in Fiji and then went off on her own. And she still does Life Mastery now and then, but also does her own thing. So she told this story to us most every event, and says it's a true story of one of the first crew members back when they first started doing all of this stuff 35 years ago or whatever it was. But they were talking about that people have to participate in their own rescue. And lady stood up and said, I want to tell you a story, and this was part of her kind of cleansing herself from this whole thing. So the story goes back not long after World War II. This lady was one of the first flight attendants, and she had flown a commercial plane to the Far East. She was in Taiwan, and she needed to get to another island where she was going to pick up another commercial plane, but she was on a very small plane. A little puddle jumper, as we call it. And this is before you had all kinds of FAA regulations. And so it didn't have all the stuff that it was supposed to have. And they were flying over water. And there were 4 people on the plane, 2 couples, 2 men and 2 women. And the plane got engine trouble, and they knew the plane was going to have to ditch into the ocean. So there was a language barrier, but they told the people, we're going to have to get off the plane, and then we have a raft. We'll open up the raft, and then everybody can get in the raft. They did not have any life vests on the plane. Well, all 4 people indicated that they couldn't swim. And so she says to everybody, well, when you get into the water, just put there with your arms up, and I will come get you. I will open up the raft. I can swim. I will come get you. But don't struggle, because then you'll just sink quicker. If you fight it, then you're just going to sink quicker. I will come and I will help you out. So they go into the water, and they crashed harder than they thought. And the pilot was actually killed when they crashed the plane. And the plane was going into the water really quickly. So everybody gets out, and she gets the boat or the raft and fills up the raft so that it's ready to go. She hops into the water, and the 2 ladies are just under the surface of the water with their hands up in the air, and they're not moving. They're doing exactly what they were told. They're waiting to be rescued, and they're calmly there, just under the surface of the water. She looks down, and she sees the 2 men, and the 2 men are struggling. They're fighting, they're trying to swim, and they're sinking. So she thinks to herself, the ladies are fine. I'm going to go down and try to get these guys, and then I'll come back and I'll get the ladies. So she goes down and she goes to grab one of the guys, and the other guy grabs onto her because they're sinking and struggling and fighting for their lives. They're drowning. She tries to bring both of them up but can't, and they start bringing her down and grabbing on her and struggling, and she's trying to swim. She finally has to fight them off and leave them. She breaks to the surface, and at this point she has swallowed water, so she has to grab onto the raft and cough and get her breath. When she does, she goes back down, and the 2 ladies are still right below the surface with her arms up, and as she grabs them, she realizes that both of them have drowned waiting for her. The lady was incredibly, incredibly upset by what happened in the story, but there was a great moral to the story. People have to participate in their own rescue, and you have to help people who want to help themselves. What happens if you don't do that? What happens if you try to help people who won't help themselves? They will drag you down and they will kill you if you let them. They will take you into their abyss. And what happens to the people when you do that who do want help? They don't get the help and they end up in the same position. She could have easily saved the two ladies and they would have lived. The two men didn't listen and they were struggling and they were going to drown no matter what because there was no way that she was strong enough to save them both. Instead, all four people died. And this poor lady ended up very traumatized from that experience. But after the event, we were able to get her to the point where she realized this was one of those things and it was a great lesson for her. And although it was terribly unfortunate, she was trying to do the right thing and she thought she was doing the right thing at the time. But it was an amazing lesson for everybody else. So the people that you're dealing with, they have to participate in their own rescue. And if the people that you're trying to save aren't willing to participate in their own rescue, then all you're doing is killing yourself. Go find the people who are right above the surface with their arms up and grab them and lift them above the surface so that they can breathe. The people that are struggling and won't listen, unfortunately, they're going to have to figure it out the way they're going to have to figure it out, or you're going to end up at the bottom of the ocean with them. A tough lesson, but incredibly true. And I don't know about you, but I know many times when I've tried to help people who refuse to help themselves, and all it does is hurt me and it doesn't help them. Meanwhile, there's plenty of people out there who want to change, who are at the point where they're willing to change, who need the help and need to find the people that can actually help them. I'm guessing that you can have similar experiences too. Tough lesson on a Thursday, but a great one for all of us to remember. Help those who want to help themselves. People have to participate in their own rescue. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.